5 mistakes that people make while renovating a house. Watch this video all the way to the end to learn what not to do whilst on your renovation journey. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the pursuit of health, wealth and happiness. My name is Nay if you're new. In January 2022, we put in an offer to buy our first house. And in July 2022, we finally got the keys. We have spent the last 4 months renovating this house, our 122-year-old Victorian terrace here in Bristol. If you're interested in our renovation journey, go ahead and check out the playlist so you can see everything that we've been up to so far. Today, I want to talk about the renovation mistakes that people make while renovating a house. These are important tips and I don't want you to make these mistakes. This will enable you to maximize your profit whilst on your renovation journey. So let's just dive straight into the video. Number 1, the first mistake that people make is that they waste money on aesthetics that don't add value to the house. So what a lot of people do is that they add their personal preferences, taste, and just things that they want with the intention that they might be the ones to live here long term. If you are planning on renovating a house because it's going to be a home that you will stay in 5 years, maybe even longer, then this doesn't apply. But if you're someone like us, you're just renovating a house soon so that you can put it back on the market, make some money and move on to the next one, then this is totally applicable. So for example, if you missed our previous video, we recently put in carpets. So we carpeted the stairs by putting in a runner. It had matching carpet on the landing and we put in a new carpet in the master bedroom. Now with a runner, for example, you may have seen all over Pinterest or Instagram, it's really aesthetically pleasing to put in metal bars. So they go at the top of each step and it gives it that sort of elevated look. It makes it look a little bit more luxury, a little bit more complete, more put together, and just almost like a final touch, the cherry on top. However, we soon discovered that just by adding the bars to the runner would cost £400. We also later learned that the bars actually serve no purpose. We initially thought that perhaps the bars tuck the carpet in or pin the carpet into the step better, but we soon learned that it was totally aesthetically pleasing only. So instead of spending £400 on these bars, we decided that that money could be better spent elsewhere. For example, if you've not seen our hallway, it's quite the disaster. There's no wallpaper and there's also no flooring. We predict that it would probably cost £400, maybe a bit less, to put in brand new flooring. We're looking at putting in Victorian tiles. And so rather than wasting money on something aesthetically pleasing, we've decided to put that money in elsewhere that will add value to the house, that will serve a better purpose. Number 2, the second mistake that people make is that they do not showcase the features of the house that they are renovating. So as I mentioned earlier, we have purchased a 122-year-old Victorian terrace property. If you're new to a Victorian or a period property, you may not know that Victorian properties have key features such as high ceilings, big windows, bay windows, chimneys, and original wood flooring. So as you can see behind me, one of the very first things that we have done is we've chiseled away the mortar on the chimney in the master room where I am right now, and also in the dining room downstairs. This makes a really good feature wall. It makes it a talking point, a selling feature, something original that you can't get in any property that's not a period property. We also ripped up the carpets downstairs in the living room and the dining room to reveal the original wood flooring. We restored it, sanded it, stained it and varnished it, and we are able to showcase the original wood flooring, again a talking point, a focal point, a selling feature. And finally, downstairs in the living room, our plan is to put in a log burner in the living room to make it cozy and really showcase the chimney downstairs. So we've been able to really highlight this, and it was really affordable. Just to chisel this away, for example, we just used chisels and a hammer and our time. It really didn't cost anything, and we've been able to add such a good focal point into this room. And looking at the flooring downstairs, again, we didn't hire anyone. We just hired a sander and we bought the stain and we bought the varnish. Much cheaper than putting in new flooring and a much better selling point. You need to think of those elements that will give a wow factor. You want someone to come into your house and be like, wow, I want this house. It's unique, it's different, it's got some selling points. I would love to live here. Number 3, the third mistake that people make is that they waste too much money hiring people to do the work that they could do themselves. So for example, I've already touched on some of the things that we've done. We did the painting, we did the paneling in our living room and dining room. We restored the original wood floors in the living room and the dining room. We chiseled the mortar off of our chimneys in both the master room and the dining room. So far, we've not had to, apart from the carpets, pay out hundreds of pounds for a daily rate for laborers to come in and do work that we have done ourselves. And we have no experience of renovating a house. This is actually our first home and we've never renovated a previous rental, for example, or any side projects. So this just took a little bit of time, a bit of Pinteresting, YouTubing, Instagramming, thinking of what to do, finding out ways, watching people who've done it before, and then applying it. And then if it's not working, tweaking it and trying it again, and then trying something new until eventually it comes out the way that you want it. Now, the reason why this is a mistake is that if you can do it yourself, you're saving hundreds of pounds on labor costs, which results in you maximizing your profit when you come to sell after you've renovated. Number 4, the fourth mistake that people make, and something that I have personally done myself, is replacing or removing perfectly good interiors that did not need touching in the first place. This has resulted in hundreds of pounds wasted. So, for example, if you haven't seen my previous videos, I took it upon myself to completely rip up the carpet that was in the master bedroom. Now, in my defense, because we had done such a good job on restoring the original wood floors downstairs, they came out so well. And because we had gone ahead and chiseled this and made this an exposed brick, I thought it would be a huge selling point if the master room also had restored original wood floors up against a naked chimney, even a log burner to match. However, after taking the time to rip out the perfectly good carpet, which really wasn't very old, it was in good condition, it was grey, it was neutral, it would have gone with everything, we decided that too much wood, too much exposed flooring would be quite cold. And really, I think most people want carpet in their bedroom. They want that level of comfort. So going back to my first point, it was an example of doing things that were a personal preference rather than adding value. So I really didn't need to touch the carpet. Even restoring the floors and maybe even replacing the carpet would not have added value, but I wanted the preference of having wood flooring in the master bedroom. But with that said, we decided that carpet was so much better, so we ended up going out and replacing the carpet. So we spent about £300 putting carpet back into this room, which we did not need to spend in the first place. And that £300 could have been better spent elsewhere in areas of the house that really need doing. So if you're just renovating, flipping, and something is perfectly good, it's in a good condition, and it's going to make no difference whether you touch it or not, don't touch it. Maximize your profit and leave it alone. And finally, last but not least, tip number 5, the fifth mistake that people make is doing too much too soon. This is exactly what we did. So we got the keys to our house in July 2022. We actually had our rental for another month. So we thought, wow, in a month we can do so much. We can restore the floors, paint, panel, do carpets, do tiling, everything that you can think of, we tried to do. However, there are a number of problems that come around when you try and do too much too soon. First of all, financially. Unless you've got a big bucket of money, I mean, let's be honest, things have gone up, labor's gone up, materials have gone up. Unless you've got a big pot of money readily available that you can just pay out whatever the cost, whereas what we had to do stuff month by month. It can be financially quite draining and exhausting to continually pay out hundreds of pounds, and in which our case, because we have done too much too soon, we were almost in a hurry because it was quite an unpleasant living condition to have so many things going on, so many rooms half finished, projects half finished, that we have turned out hundreds, maybe even thousands too soon, whereas it would have been nicer to have spread the cost. Secondly, of course, you have burnout. So we chiseled the chimneys, we did the flooring, we did the painting, we've done the paneling, we've also tried to furnish and things like that. And eventually there's only so many evenings and weekends that you can spend doing house stuff, talking about house stuff, researching house stuff. It does get quite exhausting. And when you've got other hobbies and interests, or simply you just want to hang out with your friends, the last thing you want to think of is that pressure and stress of, oh, but this room is half done, this project is half done. Whereas if you do maybe one room at a time or one project at a time, you don't have that sense of urgency. And also another point which I have touched on is if you do too much too soon, it makes it a really unpleasant place to live. So for the first few weeks, for example, while we were restoring the wood floors downstairs, we had to put all our furniture in our master room. This meant that we slept in the second room on the mattress on the floor. We were not able to use the living room, we were not able to use the master room, we were not able to use the dining room. It didn't feel like home, it was quite an unpleasant place to live. And like I said earlier, when you've got lots of unfinished projects, unfinished rooms, you visually can't cope with how much mess and stress it causes. So if I could go back in time, I would probably do a project or a room at a time, and then when it's done, move on to the next one. And so that brings us to the end of the video. So 5 mistakes that people make when renovating. Number 1, wasting money on aesthetics. Number 2, not showcasing features of the home. Number 3, wasting money hiring people. Number 4, removing or replacing perfectly good interiors. And number 5, doing too much too soon. I hope you liked this video. If you did, and if you had any benefit from this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. And as I mentioned earlier, if you've missed our previous videos, if you want to see our renovation journey, we have an entire playlist. Go ahead and check out and see what we've done so far. And if you like all things health, wealth, and happiness, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another video. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!